Hi everyone, this is Laura Susan Johnson with Period Pieces, and today is October the 4th. I guess it's Halloween month, so I'm going to be doing, scary, monster-y movies. Don't I sound excited? Well, first I'm going to start with a non-review, I guess. I was going to do Prometheus next, but I'm compelled to do a non-review of Covenant, Alien Covenant. Once I get Covenant and Prometheus out of the way, I think I'll be done with the Alien franchise. Ridley me this, Mr. Scott. Why are important scenes that establish characters, why is it the new trend to leave those on the floor or put those on YouTube now? I mean, inquiring minds would like to know. I'm at a loss here. In the first movie, you were given a full hour and a slow burn. And even after that, the movie was a comfortably slow pace. The second movie, you still knew the characters, and it was a faster paced movie. And even in the inferior movies that followed the second movie in the Alien franchise, you still at least knew the characters. In Prometheus, some of the characters were throwaways, some of them were utterly unlikable, but there were a couple that you really enjoyed because you got to know them a little bit. Here, it's a completely, things are given top priority that shouldn't be, while other things are just YouTube. Go watch YouTube. Is that the norm now? Is that the norm? Now we have to turn to YouTube to see our part of our movie? You didn't see this part in the theater, but don't worry, it's over on YouTube. That's the norm now. Okay, so I guess Google's taken a share of the profits because they've got part of your movie? I don't get it. I don't get it. If that's the way of it now, I don't even understand why bother. Elizabeth Shaw, killed off screen, one of the best characters since Hicks and Newt, in my opinion. Some people will say that's sacrilege, but no. I think out of all of the characters from Prometheus, she was one of the most unforgettable characters, and it's not because of these sexist reasons. Well, she wanted to know who these aliens were, who these space jockeys were, because she was barren. No, she was a scientist. She was a doctor. Yeah, she was a woman of faith, true, but she was also a scientist. It's true. It's very possible to be a scientist and a person who believes. And I think that she believes because she wants to, just like she says. A lot of people are like that. A lot of people believe because they desire to believe and because they cling to just family. I don't want to sound cliche, but they cling to family values. They cling to what their parents raised them with. It's part of their identity. So she has a very strong character and a very strong identity. That's why I loved Elizabeth Shaw. She wasn't my kind of person per se, but she had an extremely, very distinct character. I thought she was an amazing character, just one of the most distinctly drawn, distinctly built characters in the franchise. And I was very pissed when I heard that Numi, and I guess it's Rapace, not Rapace, but Rapace, was not coming back, except for perhaps, she said that I'm not coming back for like a little 2-minute scene. So I guess she did come back for 2 weeks worth of filming, and they did film quite a bit of material, but mostly you got to see it on YouTube. So, I guess I'm in the very small minority when I say that I like James Franco. So his character is barbecued pretty much before you see much of anything of him. If you want to see anything of any significance with James Franco, YouTube. Captain Branson is killed, barbecued, and then, you know, after his death, you can see one or two scenes of him in the film itself, but mostly YouTube. Where are the priorities? I mean, if you want anything real, if you want anything deep, turn to Alan Dean Foster's novelization. As usual, we have to turn to Alan Dean Foster. He has written Alien, Aliens. I guess he wrote Alien 3, even though he really didn't want to. He didn't want to write it the way that Vincent Ward screwed up the story. But he wrote it anyway. He wanted to change it to where Newt didn't die. And they said, nope, you got to write it this way. And he said, okay. And I guess he didn't write Alien 4. Somebody else wrote that. And then he came back and he wrote this. I don't know who wrote, I don't know who wrote Prometheus. But he did write the novelization for this one, Covenant. So anyway, there were so many things. Covenant could have been a great film. It's a film, it's a crappy film, a shitty film. At best, it's a 4 out of 10 star film that had an 8 to 9 star film poking, trying to get out. Maybe even a 10 out of 10 star film poking and trying to get out. But alas, whoever edited it had priorities in the wrong places. I mean, shower scenes. Who in the hell takes a sexy shower when there's aliens killing off your friends? Where are your priorities? Why do you give that so much importance? It's a horror trope. You've turned a franchise into a cheap horror. You've turned Alien into Sleepaway Camp. You've turned a wonderful franchise into a cheap joke. It's not a horror movie franchise. This isn't, John Carpenter's Halloween 2. This is supposed to be Alien. There's not supposed to be a bunch of cheap gore. It's supposed to be a suspense. It's supposed to be horror, not gorno. And the characters, there were some stupid characters, a lot of stupid characters in Prometheus that took their helmets off just because the air seemed breathable. It doesn't mean there weren't dangerous components in the air. And yet, one of the stupidest characters in the movie decided to take his helmet off and everybody else just joined in, just like idiots. Well, that was stupid enough. I mean, that was almost like, okay, almost buyable, because they were trying to delude themselves into thinking, yes, we found our creator's planet, they'd never hurt us. These people didn't even put helmets on to walk outside because, oh, no, see, look at this place. We heard a John Denver song. There got to be people here. This can't possibly be a dangerous place. And it just seems stupider, more and more senseless than the people in Prometheus. More and more stupid. They've given smart people away and replaced them with idiots. And these slapsticky scenes with people slipping in blood over and over again, the same puddle of blood, they're just slipping in it. They've turned it into Laurel and Hardy. It's just like a 1930s slapstick. All that was missing was some slapsticky or some silent film music or something. It was just so bad. It was so badly done. And the way they would act, even the best actors in this movie, actors that I've seen in other stuff that I admire them in, they were acting they were acting badly to blue screen because they weren't convinced anything was there. Their director was so busy making, Ridley Scott, he remains one of the best visual directors of all time. He remains a man who can make a pretty film, visually pretty, but does it have any substance? No. There's no substance because there's no character. One female shoots the engines out of the drop ship and blows it up so that they can't get back to their main ship up in the space off the planet. So they're stuck down there. And they have to figure out another way to get down to them, to help them. And it's just, there were so many things that seemed blatantly sexist, just blatantly stupid, blatantly everything that people just... It's almost as though Ridley's trying to make a movie about how stupid humanity is and how smart the aliens and the robots are and how humanity's just too stupid to live. I don't know if Ridley Scott's trying to answer some questions for himself as he gets older. His movies are becoming weirder and more steeped in religious symbolism. The alien, Captain Oram, in the book, you'll find that there's a lot of character to these characters if you read the book by Alan Dean Foster. And Captain Oram was raised in the same church that Kim Davis comes from. You remember Kim Davis? It hasn't been that long. I know she's faded back into the woodwork, but try to remember who Kim Davis was, and that'll give you an idea of who Captain Oram was. And I still question why he would follow David into the egg room and put his face up into an egg pod. I feel bad for Captain Oram, but at the same time, it's like, sir, you can't possibly be that silly. I spent 2 years in Kim Davis's church myself, and I would never have followed somebody like that. These people, yes, they're they are faith-based, and they believe in following your pastor like a sheep. But David wasn't your pastor. David was just a robot, and he was clearly evil, and you saw that he hated human beings, and yet you still... What's this about faith? You followed him because he told you to follow your faith? No. But still, the book gives you character and history, instead of just throwing these people in your face and saying, here are your characters, you don't know a thing about them. So I highly recommend reading the book just for development of characters. And I guess watching the YouTube extras. That's what you have to do nowadays if you want a movie experience. It's just sad. It's a sad thing. Now the protocol is that if you want to watch a movie and you want the movie presented to you completely, you go to the theater, you watch a movie that frustrates the living shit out of you, and then you go and watch YouTube extras. And if you want some real character development, buy the book on Amazon or wherever you buy the book and whatever. But I bought the book, and it's really good. All of Alan Dean Foster's books are really great. I've got all of the alien books that he wrote, and they're all really good. I'm just really sad. I know how Ridley Scott is. I don't know how many cuts of Blade Runner are out there. There are so many edits of Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner movie. So, hey, Ridley, why don't you recut Alien Covenant and give us a better cut? Include all the character you know, introductions, you know, the dinners, the supper scene, the Last Supper, and things about people, and get rid of stupid, you know, insipid shit like, you know, trope shower scenes that belong in Friday the 13th or something. It's just such a disappointment. It really is. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and review Prometheus next. And hopefully I'll get all these up during October. I guess October is gonna be my scary alien franchise month. Anyway, I'm sorry. The book for Alien Covenant would probably get a solid 9 out of 10 from me. And the movie, 4, because of the way it's edited and what they gave priority to. It's just terribly, terribly done. And, you know, there's some good characters. Danny McBride does good. Billy Crudup, for what little they gave him to do, he does really good. He's been made out to look like an idiot and an asshole, but Billy Crudup is one of one of the best actors. He's one of my favorites. I still think that Catherine Waterston, she could have been great, but they shove her into the background too. So even this supposed Ripley character is really not even Ripley. She's just incidental. She's just there. And I don't know who else. Oh, Damien Bashir. He plays somebody who's got a gay lover, and the gay lover's killed off, and you barely knew he was gay. I mean, after his gay lover's dead, or his gay husband, or whatever it is, because it's in the future. I mean, you don't even know he had a partner that was gay until the gay partner's been killed off. And one of the characters goes into the woods and has a smoke, and smokes about 2 puffs and then wastes the rest of it. Not that I'm a smoker, but you told her you were going to go take a piss. Idiot. Why didn't you just, you know, smoke right there? Or you were worried that they didn't allow smoking in the space program? I don't understand any of this. This whole movie was just baffling. All right, I'm done now. I got to stop before I just go into another tangent or tirade. Bye for now.